The words you speak are not ordinary expressions flowing from your mouth. They are instruments of creation shaping the atmosphere around your life and sculpting the reality that forms before your eyes. When you speak a psalm with conviction, you are not simply reciting ancient text, but activating a divine frequency that aligns your inner world with supernatural abundance. Prosperity is attracted to clarity, and clarity flows from the language you choose to release into your environment. Your voice carries authority, and your declarations become the blueprint for the overflow you are designed to receive. So many people wait for prosperity to arrive while their own words block the very doors meant to open for them. Your mind obeys the language you speak, and your life mirrors the emotional vibration you carry. To speak powerfully is to command prosperity to recognize you. Each time you declare a psalm with intention, you shift the spiritual atmosphere surrounding you. You step into alignment with a higher law that governs increase. You awaken unseen forces that respond to faith-filled speech. Your prosperity is not waiting for a perfect moment. It is waiting for your inner agreement to match the blessings already assigned to your name. The psalm you speak becomes the bridge between the invisible promise and the visible manifestation. When your words match your desire, heaven releases what has been prepared for you. People often underestimate the spiritual technology hidden within Scripture, especially the Psalms, which are filled with declarations capable of transforming thought patterns and emotional states. Every time you speak a psalm, you are cleansing your mind from doubt, shaking off fear, and calling abundance into alignment with your identity. Your language sets the tone for your day, and your expectations determine the opportunities that locate you. Prosperity flows where faith is spoken consistently. Your words are magnets pulling towards you the resources your destiny requires. The psalm is not a ritual. It is a spiritual command that repositions your life. Speaking a psalm of abundance is more than recitation. It is a declaration of spiritual ownership over the prosperity assigned to your future. It is choosing to walk in agreement with the divine law that multiplies whatever you focus on with gratitude and expectation. When you wake up and declare words of increase, you are training your mind to think in alignment with abundance instead of scarcity. You are breaking generational patterns of lack by choosing intentional language that invites overflow. Most people never experience prosperity because they speak from fear, limitation, and insecurity without realizing their words carry the power to sabotage their blessings. But when you speak a psalm, you are rewriting the script of your life by activating a higher spiritual frequency. You begin creating a mental environment where abundance feels normal, natural, and expected. This shift in internal vibration attracts opportunities that once felt out of reach. The psalm becomes a divine key unlocking doors that human effort alone could never open. It awakens possibilities that were always present but hidden behind layers of doubt and negative self-talk. Prosperity responds to the language of faith, and faith is ignited when your voice declares truth louder than your circumstances. Speaking a psalm reminds your mind that the universe is abundant and that you are connected to a source that never runs dry. When you speak words of increase, your emotions begin to match your declarations, and your energy aligns with the life you desire. Emotions are powerful attractors, and when they harmonize with your spoken word, you become a magnet for success. Your prosperity journey accelerates the moment your words and emotions stand in agreement. Every declaration creates momentum. Every verse strengthens your spiritual authority. Every spoken word becomes a seed planted into your future. When you speak a psalm with intention, you awaken the creative power within your subconscious mind, which begins to rearrange your beliefs around wealth and possibility. Your subconscious responds not to wishful thinking, but to the repeated declarations that carry emotional charge and spiritual focus. This inner shift produces new actions, new habits, and new expectations that align with prosperity. When your internal structure is strengthened by positive declaration, your external world begins to mirror your transformed mindset. Prosperity is not a coincidence. It is a response to the consistency of your inner conversation. The psalm becomes a tool for mental reprogramming, removing beliefs that once limited your potential. With every declaration, you undo layers of insecurity and replace them with confidence grounded in divine truth. This internal transformation is what attracts new doors, connections, and breakthroughs. Your outer success is simply a reflection of your inner language. Speaking a psalm activates faith, and faith is the spiritual currency that purchases opportunities, breakthroughs, and divine alignment. Faith-filled language carries the power to shift seasons, open financial flow, and dissolve internal resistance to increase. Prosperity cannot thrive in a mind filled with doubt, but it flourishes in a soul strengthened by belief. The Psalms ignite that belief, reminding you that you are divinely supported and spiritually backed. Your voice becomes a prophetic instrument, releasing abundance into your future. Every declaration sends out a vibration that begins searching for circumstances that match your spoken truth. The universe responds to clarity, confidence, and certainty, and the Psalms cultivate all three. When you speak them, you are not begging for prosperity, you are announcing its arrival. You are aligning your reality with your spiritual identity as someone destined for overflow. Your daily habits are the quiet architects of your destiny, shaping your strength, your clarity, and your ability to receive abundance long before you ever see results in your physical world. Many people pray for prosperity, but keep habits that quietly drain the very energy needed to attract it. One of the most overlooked habits is daily masturbation, a cycle that feels harmless but slowly erodes mental discipline and spiritual sharpness. When the mind becomes weakened by repetitive indulgence, it loses the capacity to focus on the very things that create advancement. Prosperity responds to a mind that is alert, intentional, and disciplined, not one distracted by impulses that steal time and focus. Every habit either strengthens your inner power or leaks it away little by little until you're left with exhaustion and emptiness. Prosperity requires strength, and strength requires discipline, and discipline requires the mastery of personal habits. The habits you practice in secret determine the opportunities that appear in public. What you allow daily becomes the foundation of what you create. Most people never realize the spiritual cost of indulging in habits that drain their emotional and physical vitality, because the effects accumulate slowly over time. Daily masturbation especially becomes a cycle that creates short bursts of pleasure while quietly robbing you of long-term resilience, inner energy, and clarity of purpose. When the body loses vital energy, the mind becomes sluggish, and the spirit loses sensitivity to guidance and direction. This creates confusion, procrastination, and emotional heaviness conditions that weaken the ability to attract prosperity. Prosperity flows toward those who live with intentional energy, not those caught in cycles that produce temporary satisfaction but long-term stagnation. Every small habit that steals from your focus becomes a barrier between you and the blessings trying to reach you. Discipline opens doors, but indulgence often closes them without you even noticing. Your ability to break draining habits becomes the first step toward reclaiming your spiritual authority. The more energy you conserve, the more powerful your attraction becomes. Your habits form the vibration you carry, and the vibration you carry determines the opportunities that find you. When you engage in daily actions that weaken your confidence or fill you with guilt, shame, or emotional heaviness, you lower the frequency needed to attract abundance. Daily masturbation often carries emotional consequences that people ignore, creating internal conflict that disrupts motivation and clarity. Prosperity is not only about working hard or hoping for miracles. It is about keeping your inner energy clean, focused, and aligned with your purpose. The moment a habit begins stealing from your self-respect, it begins stealing from your future. When you honor yourself enough to break cycles that drain you, you send a message to the universe that you are ready for greater things. Your self-worth rises, your clarity strengthens, and your spiritual connection deepens. These internal shifts open doors that were once hidden from you. Prosperity recognizes strength, not self-neglect. Breaking a draining habit like daily masturbation is not simply a matter of willpower. It is a spiritual decision to reclaim authority over your body instead of letting impulses dictate your direction. When your impulses control you, they weaken your identity and diminish your confidence in your own discipline. Prosperity cannot thrive where self-trust is broken. The moment you begin mastering your impulses, you begin rebuilding your own inner throne, the place where your authority, clarity, and personal power reside. When you choose discipline over indulgence, you elevate your vibration and expand your internal capacity to hold more abundance. This is why some people pray fervently but see no results. Their internal structure is weakened by habits that steal the strength required for manifestation. Prosperity is not denied. It is simply waiting for you to become strong enough to receive and sustain it. Every day you choose mastery, you strengthen the flow of blessings. Your daily habits create the momentum that carries your life, and momentum determines whether you rise or remain stuck in cycles of stagnation. Daily masturbation disrupts momentum by creating emotional fatigue, mental fog, and spiritual numbness. It may feel like a release, but it becomes a subtle addiction that keeps the mind distracted and disconnected from purpose. Momentum thrives when your actions align with your goals, your values, and your spiritual vision. When you discipline your habits, you ignite a new momentum that attracts new opportunities, new relationships, and new blessings. Prosperity is not random. It follows those who demonstrate readiness through consistent choices. Every moment of discipline strengthens your spiritual magnetism. The energy you save becomes the energy you can invest into creativity, focus, productivity, and prayer. These are the energies that accelerate prosperity. What you do daily either chains you or frees you. When you remove draining habits from your life, you create space for inspiration to flow, and inspiration is the fuel of prosperity. Inspiration cannot thrive in a mind preoccupied with indulgence or weighed down by guilt and internal conflict. When you purge the body and mind of destructive habits, you awaken a spiritual lightness that transforms how you think, feel, and act. This lightness strengthens your ability to make better decisions, attract better opportunities, and discern divine timing. Prosperity requires a mind that can hear direction clearly. Daily masturbation clouds that inner clarity by overstimulating the nervous system and lowering your spiritual sensitivity. When you protect your inner purity, you open yourself to divine guidance that leads you toward increase. You become aligned with the rhythm of abundance. You begin recognizing opportunities others overlook. You start moving with purpose instead of impulse. Self-control is the unseen gatekeeper of prosperity, for abundance does not flow into the hands of someone who cannot manage their own impulses or guard their inner world with intention. When a person practices self-control, they expand their internal capacity to receive, sustain, and multiply the blessings assigned to them. Prosperity requires a level of mental strength that can only be built through mastering the urges that try to pull you away from focus and purpose. Every moment you choose discipline over temptation, you reinforce your identity as someone capable of holding greatness. The most powerful individuals are not those who never feel desire, but those who refuse to be enslaved by it. Your future depends on how well you steward your inner world, because your habits shape your vibration, and your vibration shapes the opportunities that come to you. When you consistently choose self-control, you build a spiritual container large enough to hold overflow. Self-control becomes the structure that protects your destiny. It becomes the silent proof that you are ready for increase. A person who is controlled by impulses cannot hold abundance, because abundance demands stability, clarity, and emotional maturity. When someone is trapped in habits such as daily masturbation, they weaken the inner structure needed to sustain prosperity, because they trade long-term elevation for short-term release. Prosperity requires a mind that is directed rather than distracted, focused rather than fragmented, strong rather than scattered. Each time you deny an impulse that weakens you, you strengthen your spiritual authority, and authority is magnetism in motion. Authority attracts opportunities, partnerships, direction, and breakthroughs that cannot be accessed through wishful thinking alone. Prosperity arrives when a person becomes strong enough internally to handle the weight of their own calling. Self-control sharpens the mind, strengthens the spirit, and gives you mastery over the very urges that once weakened you. The moment you master yourself, you begin to master your environment. The moment you say no to the habits that drain you, you say yes to the future prepared for you. True prosperity is a spiritual responsibility, not just a financial blessing, and those who lack self-control often sabotage the very increase they pray for. Prosperity exposes everything within you, your strengths, your weaknesses, your emotional patterns, and your insecurities, and without discipline, a person can easily lose what they were given. When you master your impulses, you build the internal resilience required to steward bigger blessings without collapsing under the pressure. Daily masturbation weakens emotional stability and drains the clarity needed to make wise decisions, but self-control restores power to the mind and peace to the spirit. A disciplined life creates a clear channel for divine guidance, allowing you to move with intention instead of chaos. When your inner world is ordered, your external world begins to align with greater accuracy. Prosperity follows those who can be trusted with it, and trust begins with self-control. Every moment of discipline becomes a spiritual investment into your future. You become someone who can hold abundance without being shaken by it. The more you practice self-control, the more your capacity expands, and capacity is the silent foundation of prosperity. Capacity determines how much opportunity you can manage, how much responsibility you can bear, and how much blessing you can sustain without breaking. When you break free from habits that weaken your discipline, you enlarge the space within you where abundance can settle and multiply. Prosperity does not come to those who are unprepared. It comes to those who have cultivated a vessel strong enough to carry greatness. Every act of self-control increases your vibrational strength, your spiritual sensitivity, and your mental clarity, making you a magnet for success. Your ability to govern yourself determines your ability to govern your destiny. When you rise above impulse, you rise into purpose. When your mind becomes disciplined, your environment becomes obedient, and with every victory over your flesh, you elevate your spiritual stature and expand your capacity to welcome overflow. Your body is a sacred vessel carrying divine purpose, and the way you treat it determines how clearly you can hear guidance, how deeply you can connect to your calling, and how powerfully you can walk in prosperity. When a person indulges in habits that weaken the body, they are not just harming their physical health. They are lowering their spiritual sensitivity and disrupting the flow of abundance meant to move through them. Daily masturbation may seem harmless, but over time it drains vital energy, dulls the mind, and creates internal fatigue that blocks inspiration. Prosperity flows toward those who are vibrant, alert, and alive in spirit. When the body is weakened, the spirit becomes clouded, and the mind becomes foggy, making it harder to recognize divine timing and strategic opportunities. Guarding your health strengthens your awareness, your confidence, and your ability to receive supernatural direction. Abundance responds to those who honor the vessel they live in. The more you protect your physical energy, the more your spiritual energy expands. Your body becomes a partner in your purpose, not an obstacle to it. Daily masturbation has impacts beyond temporary pleasure because it disrupts the equilibrium of the nervous system, overstimulates the brain, and creates a cycle of exhaustion that many people never recognize until it affects their ambition. A weakened prostate can lead to discomfort, inflammation, and long-term reproductive challenges, but more importantly, it creates a leak in your vital life force, the same energy needed for creativity, discipline, and spiritual clarity. When the energy of the body is depleted, your focus weakens, your emotions destabilize, and your ability to stay committed to your goals declines. Prosperity is attracted to a person whose inner energy is overflowing, not one who feels drained and fragmented. When you honor your body by breaking destructive habits, you raise your vibration and become aligned with the frequency of abundance. Your health becomes the foundation of your spiritual magnetism. Your clarity improves, your instincts sharpen, and your confidence strengthens. Protecting your temple is protecting your destiny. The more you honor your physical health, the more you expand your spiritual capacity, because the body and spirit are never separate. They reflect, influence, and amplify one another. A healthy body supports a sharp mind, and a sharp mind attracts opportunities, solutions, and breakthroughs that a weakened mind could never notice. When your body carries energy instead of exhaustion, you wake up with momentum instead of resistance, and that momentum becomes the engine of prosperity. Daily masturbation disrupts this momentum by draining masculine vitality, lowering motivation, and weakening the desire to pursue long-term goals. But when you reclaim your strength and discipline your physical impulses, you restore balance to your hormones, clarity to your thinking, and passion to your purpose. Your spirit rises when your body is respected. Prosperity is a spiritual flow that needs a healthy vessel to travel through. When your temple is clean, strong, and protected, abundance finds a home within you. You become a living invitation for overflow. Protecting your body is not about restricting pleasure. It is about preserving the divine energy that fuels your purpose, empowers your focus, and attracts the success waiting for you. Every time you choose discipline over indulgence, you strengthen the very foundation that prosperity stands on. Your decisions determine the condition of your body, and the condition of your body determines the strength of your spirit. Health is not separate from abundance. It is one of the highest forms of it, because a strong body carries dreams with greater endurance. Daily masturbation weakens this endurance by trapping you in cycles of emotional emptiness and internal conflict that slowly erode your confidence. But when you choose purity, strength, and self-respect, you elevate your vibration and expand your spiritual authority. Your body becomes a powerful instrument of destiny, capable of supporting the greatness you are called to carry. The more you honor your temple, the more heaven honors your efforts with prosperity, clarity, and favor.